and it's something that we see every single week. And that's just to stop giving the ball away in stupid positions, and to cut out silly goals and tighten up. Welcome back to Small Earth Alliance FC. Now, we're right at the business end of the football season at the moment. We've got round about 13 league games left, and this is a time of the year now where we need to start to pick up points to get ourselves as high up the table as we possibly can. Now, I asked Matt a few days ago to think about a number of improvements that we could do right now with Birmingham City to help us have a strong finish to the season and finish as high up the table as we can. I've also thought of three as well, so it'll be interesting because I don't know what Matt has come up with and he doesn't know what I've come up with, so it'll be interesting to see if we've got some similar ideas. So I'm going to go over to Matt and just bounce it over to him. So what can Birmingham City do, Matt, in this current season to make improvements to give us a strong finish?
So my first one, and it's a really simple one really, and that's having a consistent captain. So I know Sanderson's been injured. We can't help injuries, but we've in the last 5 games, Sanderson, Mark Roberts, and Sunjic have been 3 captains in 5 games. That's quite a lot of turnover. And if you add that for the rest of the season, we've also had Ruddy, we've had Yuki. There's probably a couple more I've missed there who have had the captain's armband. And I remember it was against Sheffield Wednesday. All the comments from the Blues fans were going, "Oh, that I can't repeat them on the podcast," but we're like, that captain's armband's been passed around, blah blah blah. So and I'm not going to go into this in too much detail because I've mentioned it on other videos, But Blues are crying out, for a gutsy player. A Lee Bowyer, a Stephen Carr, one of those.
Robbie Savage,
exactly. Someone like that. And if we can't have that, because we don't have that really in our team at the moment, the least we can do is have a stable captaincy. And I think it's a small thing, but I think that will create stability. Mark Venus is taking over from Tony Mowbray in the short term. I think having a consistent captain allows him that line of communication, and I think that will really steady the ship for us moving forward.
Well, we spoke about captains before, haven't we? It's interesting you said that. It's not one of mine, by the way, but it's a really good, valid point. Yeah. And I'm like you. I want to see a captain that's like shouting at the players, not in an aggressive, abusive way.
Rallying them up.
Just rallying them up and, and when they make mistakes, actually telling them and that's the type of captain I want, which I don't think at the moment we have. It's interesting your point, though, about that, because I didn't realise that. I don't really pay too much attention to the captain, but the amount of changes, it's, I suppose, if Sanderson is injured, then we've got to allocate somebody else. So.
Well, Sanderson is the club captain. He was chosen by Eustace and Rooney continued it and Mowbray's continued it. So Sanderson is the Blues captain, but, when he's injured, it seems to get passed around left, right and centre. So hopefully he's back and can have that consistent captain's armband. But if he's not, I think we need a consistent secondary who can carry the team in his absence. But that's my first one. Small.
I think that's I think that's for this season, but that needs to go forward to next season as well.
I think to advance on that for next season, we need a new kind of player. Exactly who you alluded to. Someone who can grab the game, rally the players up. Roy Keane.
He's a bit old to come into our team, but but I know what you mean.
I'd still take it.
That style of player. Okay, So my first suggestion for an improvement that we need to make right now this season, with the remainder of the season, we've got to improve our away record. It's absolutely shocking. I mean, we've won 3, drawn 2, and lost 12 away. We've got 11 points on away grounds, and that really isn't good enough. And actually, if you look at the fixtures we've got left, Matt, we've still got 4 of the bottom 6 to play away. All of those are 6-pointers. Yeah. We have to pick points up in those games. In fact, also as well, we've conceded 33 goals away. Only Norwich have also conceded 33, and then the only worse team than that is Rotherham have conceded 43 away. So actually, we've got the second highest goals conceded on away grounds in the whole of the Championship. So that record of 1-3 drawn 2 and lost 12 is terrible. Yeah. And actually, if you look at our record compared to previous seasons, we're on course for our worst away record for as long as I can sort of remember. So to me, we've got to start picking points up away. If we don't, it does like Southampton. The Southampton game that we're about to play this weekend. It puts pressure on those games now because now that you keep losing away, when you come home, you've got to keep winning or you've got to keep picking up points. And luckily, our home record isn't too bad. If we start losing games at home, then suddenly we start don't improve that away record, we're gonna sort of struggle.
Yeah.
So for me, the first suggestion is we have to improve for the rest of the season, improve our away record.
The biggest takeaway I've just got from what you mentioned is that we're playing 4 of the bottom 6 in the coming weeks and months. Until the end of the season. They're 6-point games.
Yep.
They're huge. We need to start picking up. I mean, on a positive note, though, when it's the perfect time to start turning that form around, because if we can start to get a couple of wins in those 6 games, that will immediately hopefully take that pressure off. But 5 points is separating 15th and 22nd. It is on a knife's edge. It's really tense down there. So those games are getting bigger and bigger. They're 6-pointers, and I completely agree. We need to start getting some points away from home.
Yeah, so I think if we can do that, then obviously it takes a little bit of pressure off the home games, and also we'll take the pressure off the position that we're in as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, definitely more away points.
Okay, so that brings me on to my second point then, and this isn't necessarily to do with the players or the squad, but this is to do with the fans and the owners. And for me, my second one is to get more full houses down St Andrews. We played Sunderland last week. It was a full packed out St Andrews. I don't think that game would have been 2-1 if we didn't have a sellout. That atmosphere really made those players rise to it. And Laird came out at the end of the game and said how important it was to have that full house and the crowd there. He goes, it spurs them on, it rallies them on.
Yeah.
I've just got a few notes here that the owners did for us for that game. They rewarded the Platinum and Gold members. They allowed the schools and academies to utilise the Upper Gill Merrick. There was some incentives there to get St Andrews packed out. And there's some controversy about lowering ticket prices, because me and you are season ticket holders, Dad. Let me ask you a question. This is what's been posed on Twitter. How would you feel about lowering the prices for everyone else? Because me and you have committed to that season ticket price. So effectively, in some regards, potentially we could be getting undercut with the prices that we've committed to. But before you do answer, I mean, the consensus on Twitter from the majority of season ticket holders has been, I don't care, lower those prices. Let's get St Andrews rocking. Let's make it a fortress until the end of the season.
That's exactly what I think as well. You might not realise it, but actually for the 23 home games that you pay for in your season ticket, you do actually get good value when you work out the price per game.
It's a lot of money.
I'm obviously talking about our season tickets in the Tilton. I don't know what other people think about other areas and what their prices are, but it is still a lot of money. But going to a football match nowadays is a lot of money, isn't it? So I think that's good value, and I would be more than happy for the club to have incentives to lower ticket prices for certain games in certain areas, and to do all sorts of incentives to bring more fans back to the stadium. As a season ticket holder, I'm all for it.
Yeah. And I think if we can make St Andrews a fortress, it just makes those games. It's like having the 12th man, isn't it? Against Southampton, against these big clubs, we need to have the 12th man at St Andrews to get us over the line.
Well, people use the term against Sunderland game. We brought the noise. I saw that a lot over social media. We can do that without having a full stadium. Mm-hmm. It's nice to have a full stadium. We can still do that but it is so much better with the full stadium.
I do agree. We do bring the noise as Blues fans a lot of the time, but that full atmosphere, it was adrenaline pumping, wasn't it? It was an experience I haven't felt for the best part of
But like you said, Matt, though, it is expensive, and if you've got a family who has to bring kids with them, it adds up. So I can fully understand why people are because the cost of living's high and all the other stuff that goes along with it. Be selective in the games that they come to, because you just can't afford it.
Well, it's not just that. So you buy your ticket, but then you've also got, if you want to have a beer, maybe you want to buy a programme, maybe you want to buy a scarf. Who knows what you want to add to the match day experience. I've not bought a programme for the best part of 10 or 15 years. £4 at Sunderland. Yeah. I couldn't believe I nearly threw the programme back in. I was like, £4, that's insane. So I get it, times are hard. It's expensive to go to football these days. But if the owners could do something to encourage, even not sellouts, just significantly more numbers, I'd be happy. And I think if we can get St Andrews rocking, I think it will really help us get some results at home. Well,
they've made a good incentive. Did you see the announcement today about the Preston game that there's going to be the UB40 concert and the season ticket holders included within the actual cost of it? So I think the owners are trying, and I think that they'll get there in the end. But as we mentioned before, it's not always easy to get a full stadium at the moment because of the costs.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
But definitely a good suggestion is that really, so you're saying get a full stadium or get the crowd to be more pumped up, and
just some incentive to get the numbers a little bit higher down St Andrews. Then, so if we were to rein it in from a full house, let's just get more incentives for people to get those numbers up a little bit.
Okay, so that'll bring me on to my second improvement that I think would really help to give us a good end to the season and steer us away from trouble is that, well, you know that I like statistics, right? And I'm sure people watching these videos are starting to get the impression that I do like, I'm a bit of a stato. I do like statistics. And one thing I always look at the end of a match, I don't know if you do, I always look at the possession and the shots on target. And my second suggestion is that as a football club, Birmingham City, we need to get more shots on target. Now I have got some stats here for you, which might actually surprise you. When you look at the stats, sometimes we show you shots and you think, oh, we had loads of shots, but some of those shots are off target, some of them are blocked. It just gives you a figure. But how many shots are we getting on target? Now I've averaged the last 7 games, okay. Right. And these are the games since Tony Mowbray took over. So these are probably slightly higher than what they would have been previously. So in those 7 games, right, this is home and away, just in the league this is, okay? We've had 98 shots in total, right, in 7 games. 29 on target, so that's only 30% of shots on target. 37 off target and 33 were blocked. So if you average that out for them 7 games, that gives us 4 shots on target per game. 5 shots off target and 5 blocks. So actually, even though the stats would suggest we're getting loads of shots, the vast majority of them are off target or blocked. Yeah. So we need to improve that because you're not going to score goals unless you hit the ball at the goal. Okay, the goalkeeper might make a save, but you could get a deflection or anything. But we've seen some shots and they'll be included in those stats. The ball's on its way to Coventry.
Still travelling now.
It's still in the air now. Yeah. And that classifies as a shot.
Yeah.
So we've got to get this better. We've got to, and also as well, I feel as part of that as well is that our players as well. Sometimes when you look at other teams, they're quite zippy and quick, and they make intelligent passes. We sometimes get to good positions and then overplay it and then get tackled and blocked, and that's stopping us having shots as well. So I think as a team, when we are forward, we need to make more of that, and we do need to get more shots on target. Clearly, more shots on target is bound at some point to result in more goals.
Yeah, I would like to say that. I'd like to point out though, 98 shots under Mowbray. I don't think we'd have got 98 shots under Eustace and Rooney. That's still fair enough. A couple of them are in Rose Ed and travelling now, but the fact that. And, you alluded to pinball on one video. We have to get players in the box in order for that to happen. We have to have players in positions to take shots in the first place. So the reason why I say this is it's still a metric that Mowbray's formula is working because we're getting more shots. Fair enough, the quality isn't there. But me and you sit in the Tilton, Dad, we watch them warm up. How many times do we go, oh, that was a screamer? Or how many times do we go, oh, he missed? It's always he missed.
It's always he missed. Yeah,
it's always he missed. So we're watching them warm up, going, "Blimey neck!" I hope they, how they pick it up when the whistle blows. But I completely agree. By the way,
the game that stands out the most to me to emphasise this point is when we were away at Sheffield Wednesday. Okay, 25 shots we had. Okay, how many do you think were on target?
Oh, I think was it 8?
4.
Yeah,
4 on target, 12 off target, and 9 blocked. But we had, but the stats show 25. So you think, well, if the stats are showing 25 shots, we must have dominated that game. And we did have higher possession. We had 63% possession in that game, 37 to Sheffield Wednesday. Yet we lost the game 2-0. But that's like us. I mentioned. The game against Southampton versus Millwall. Southampton won, Millwall 2, and Southampton had 81% possession. And it just shows you that possession is one thing. Shots are another, and goals are another.
Yeah.
And that's where we have to try and sort of we have to sort of start hitting that target more. We need to do that. We need to score more goals, and I think obviously clearly that's an obvious improvement that we need to make. We need to have more shots on target.
Yeah, I think we definitely need more quality in that final third, don't we?
Yeah.
Unless it falls to Stansfield or JJ, I'm thinking, oh, where's this going to go? There are two at the moment, especially who are firing. I mean, JJ's firing him in from, what's he on now? 9 goals of the season. I think he's 1 goal off Hogan's entirety.
I don't think he's got 9, but he's
high. I think he might be 8 or 9.
It might be. I think he might be 8 or 9. He's 8, I think, but I'm not sure he's got 9. But he's basically he's scoring goal. But just one final point on this as well. It's like so for example, for a shot, you could have a player that takes the ball down the wing or either wing and then just has a ping when there might be a sensible cross that would have been someone in a better position, but they go and have a shot and that's the off target. So again, it comes back to this making these sensible decisions and being more intelligent in forward positions and getting those shots and making the goalkeepers work more, the opposition goalkeepers.
Well, I always say if you're like 20 yards and inward, you could get a deflection, you could hit the post. Who knows what could happen if you just have a pop, you know? And I think Bakuna's pretty good at trying for the long shots. JJ quite likes a long shot, Stansfield as well. So we do have the players in there who do like a shot. But you're right, that quality needs to up, and we need to get more shots on target, especially in this later part of the season.
Absolutely.
I couldn't agree more. So that brings me on to my third and final one. And again, this might seem like a bit of a wishy-washy one, to be fair, and I don't mean it to, but I think it is really important. And for me, the final one is we need to get behind Mark Venus. You know, Tony Mowbray, the odds are now we're not going to see him for the rest of the season, and rightly so. He's taken that time to with his family and his health. You know, we wish him nothing but luck and the best.
As always, Tony, get well soon.
100%. So you know, Mark Venus is basically going to be our manager for the rest of the season, and I think we need to get behind him. You know, the fans need to get behind him, and also Mark Venus, if you watch him in his interviews, he seems quite flat and he seems a bit passive. I want Mark Venus, and I've referenced this in this video, I've referenced it in previous videos, I want him firing up those players like they're going to war before every game. I want Mark Venus to step up. I want him to be a role model for the players. And he's got the experience. He's worked with Mowbray now for the best part of 15 years. So he knows what Mowbray wants. He knows the style he wants to play. He knows the players now. But I want him, you know, firing on all cylinders for these players. I want the team to get behind him. I want the players to get behind him. And until Mowbray returns, you know, I want us to stay up in this league. And I think the best way we do that is to get behind Mark Venus. I'm not interested in an interim manager, especially at this stage of the season. More change and other managers' ideas of what football's meant to be and how it's going to be played, adaptating to the squad again. You know, I'm not into that. I want the team to get behind Mark Venus, and I want him to really rally those players up and get us some results.
I think again, but I think obviously everybody's got a different personality, and he might not be one of those personalities. But you know, they could have coaches around him or players in the team that could do that motivation if he's not that type of personality. But I agree. I think something needs to fire these players up to get them to fight for their place, fight for the shirt, play for the manager, play for Tony, and obviously play for the fans and the club.
I was just jumping. The only thing that worries me, not worries me, but it was worrying at the weekend was, you know, his timing and his choice of substitutions against Ipswich. And when he was asked about it, he made a very fair comment, and he was saying he was resting tired legs. You know, we've got a lot of games coming up. I think Dazal and Paik have played the last 3 games. You know, I think his theory was he just didn't want people to get fatigued, get injured, and, you know, have unnecessary injuries. So that was his theory behind it. But, you know, I think his decision-making needs to get slightly sharper if that's what we're going to be basing his substitutions off. And I want to see better timing, better subs. And as I say, you know, you can't change your personality to some extent, but I just want him to, you know, motivate those players now. I want him to highlight the significance of every game and how we need to start, as you said in your first point, start winning more games on the road. Yeah,
but obviously Mark Venus has been around Tony for so 100%. Many years, so he knows what Tony does, what he expects. So I've every confidence that Mark Venus will do what he needs to do. So coming on to my final point then, and this is and this is a big one really in terms of how we can improve this season and how we can have a stronger finish, and it's something that we see every single week. And that's just to stop giving the ball away in stupid positions, and to cut out silly goals and tighten up. You know, an obvious one, isn't it? You know, but it's frustrating to watch, isn't it? You know, I mean, I can think of goals like, you know, against Sunderland when Paik gave that ball to Roberts, and Roberts was on his back foot. Jack Clark nipped in and scored. Yep. That was avoidable. I think Sanderson's mistake against Plymouth, when he literally should have just cleared it and the player just came. And I'm sure there's many others. So these are goals that we just don't need to concede.
Dembele at Ipswich, he wasn't tracking his man. Really basic stuff. You know, it wasn't a mistake per se, but it was a really bad error in judgment.
He didn't track Twinzabi.
Exactly.
So that left Laird 2-on-1. Yeah, in a position that he just passed it and went in. I mean, that's avoidable as that. But that's the type of thing I'm
exactly
talking about.
Referring to, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly what I'm referring to. So tighten up at the back defensively, because remember, defence starts from the top of the pitch, not the back. So if the forwards and the midfielders are doing their job, if we've got the ball in their half, that effectively is defending because the other team are not in a half. So this is not just a criticism of the defenders, because I mean, who'd want to be a defender? I mean, you know, who'd want to be a goalkeeper for that matter? But this is about the club, the Birmingham City, playing as a team together and realising that if you lose the ball as a forward or as a midfielder, it's going to result in pressure at the back. So you're putting defenders under pressure, and you've got to track back. I've put that as well, which is what you've mentioned already. This tracking back is something that our players have to do. And I know that Tony Mowbray is insistent that everybody has to put a shift in. but we can't afford to have passengers. We can't afford for players to lose the ball and not track back because, as we've seen, it just results in goal. So my third and I think not most important, I think they're all important. My most significant point is if we can cut out those silly goals and be a little bit more sensible in the way that we pass and also track back, that's going to make a massive difference. We're currently on a goal difference of -13 at the moment. Okay, now when I look, I've got the stats going back for the last 12 seasons here in terms of our goal difference, and out of those last 13 seasons, which includes 2 of them in the Premier League before we got relegated, only 3 seasons have we finished with a positive goal difference. Wow. So actually, what I'm saying by that stat is this is not a current problem. Mm-hmm. This is something that's been an issue for Birmingham City for a number of years, is that we've got to make improvements to obviously improve our goal difference. Clearly, that stat is not just about conceding goals, it's about scoring more goals as well. Yeah. But that to me is a big thing, is I don't want to see the balls giving the ball away lazily. I want to see them be more alert and look at what's going on around them, because clearly these championship teams that we're playing, they've got good players, they're fast. So they only need a sniff and they're in.
That's the thing about the Championship. On their day, anyone can beat anyone. If Leicester are having a bad day, but Rotherham are having a great day, they can win.
We've seen it all season.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
Championship is such a competitive league. And just coming back to your comment about errors and defensive sloppiness, you saw me play football as a kid, and as a coach, the 3 things you get taught first is play the way you're facing, if in doubt, kick it out, and track your man back. Because I was a left back. So those were the 3 rules that I was taught first in. And you're talking child level of football. You're talking Sunday League. And again, I don't want to speak negatively, but this is the basics that our team should be getting right.
You was a left back. Have you still got your boots? I'll be on the phone to Mark Venus tomorrow.
We're talking basic stuff here that our defenders need to cut out. And you're right. It does start. It leaks from the top to the back. But let's just say the strikers and the midfield are having a bad day. Or not even that, we are just having that pressure that naturally builds in a game. The defenders still have to do better.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it's just it'd be nice, much more comfortable watching games if we felt that we were a little bit safer on the ball. But that's football, and we know as well that footballers they're human beings. They are going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes in life, don't we? I'm sure there's things in our lives that we can look back at and think, I wish I'd done that better in all aspects of our lives. So it's all right us sitting here criticising footballers, but they haven't got the easiest time in as much as every move is scrutinised. But you've heard what me and Matt think, about how we need to improve this season in certain aspects in order to help us to have a more comfortable finish to the football season, finish as high up the table as possible. And we don't want to be in a position where we put ourselves in trouble. And I think if we implemented these the things that myself and Matt have suggested, I think that would make a big difference to us and help us to, when we come to the last few games of the season, I'm sure we can have a sigh of relief and just enjoy those few games and look forward to next season. But what do you think, Birmingham City supporters? Is there any suggestions that you've got that we could do this season? Clearly, the transfer windows have all closed, so there's no opportunity to bring in any more players. So we've got to work with what we've currently got. But have you got any suggestions that you believe would help us to improve this season, help us finish as high up the table? Then pop a comment below and let us know. It'd be really interesting to see what you got to say. So I do hope you liked this video, and if you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you want to subscribe to the channel for future videos all about Birmingham City, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And me and Matt will see you on the next video.